Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in today to this webinar on video analytics for transport hubs. My name is Oskar Haller. I'm the CEO and co-founder of EaserSoft. I hope you're having a great day so far, wherever you're joining from. And I would say we start right into the webinar. Although there might be some people joining, but there's a recording at the end, so in case you miss anything, you'll be able to watch it afterwards. So to give you an introduction into video analytics, so video analytics is a software that processes video streams from cameras to produce outcomes in forms of data that can be used by operators. In our case, EaserSoft Perception is our video analytics software. It's based on AI, so latest technology, and it helps to get data for transport hubs. In particular, it impresses with reliability, ease of use, and a wide range of integrations. And we want to dive deeper today, especially on the topic of transport hubs. Our goal is to make transport hubs more connected, efficient, and secure. That means for example, the case of train stations, which is one of the major types of transport hubs, to help the operators increase the customer satisfaction or the passenger satisfaction. That can be, for example, to increase the operational efficiency through real-time measures. So in this case, EaserSoft Perception would be able to get data of real-time occupancy of platforms, and that information could be displayed on displays for the passengers to see, okay, which station is currently very full, and then for the operators to take actions such as sending additional personnel. As you can see here, an example of a German train station, and it shows the capability of video analytics software for transport hubs. In the past, to get this kind of data, operators would have to install lots and lots of sensors. Sometimes, especially here in this case of a transport hubs, there's no ceiling to install such kind of sensors. But cameras are already there. So video analytics is the perfect instrument to obtain data from passenger flow, from train station occupancy, from waiting times for those operators. They save a lot on cabling, they save a lot on installation, and they get their insights with the click of a button. Another example here that shows that video analytics today, it has been different in 10 years ago. Video analytics today, thanks to the AI built into the software, is able to capture data no matter where the cameras are placed. There's no intensive retraining or something like that. The software works out of the box and produces data with the click of a button. So these operators or transport hub operators can leverage their existing security camera infrastructure right away, which is one of the strengths of modern video analytics. The next type of transport hub that I want to talk about is airports. It's a very interesting case. So airports, similar to train station, process lots and lots of people every day. So the video analytics needs to be accurate to really solve the use cases that are there. We see a couple of ones. Some of them are already visible in this image. So travelers might arrive by car. So our software or ESOS of Perception is able to be used is able to process and count cars. It has been successfully being deployed in parking garages to measure their occupancy, also to help the travelers find a free parking lot. That is the first thing. The passenger needs to arrive at the airport. If it's a train station where the passenger arrives, we already covered it in the slide before. And then typically when the passenger enters the airport, there's queues. So there's the check-in queue. Maybe there's the baggage drop-off. There's various types of queues where video analytics can be helpful. It can be used to measure the waiting time, to give the passenger an estimation of how long will they probably wait. There's the for the operator, it's important to know the throughput of their queues if they need to deploy additional resources. And that can be captured with video analytics. Typically, airports would have to deploy costly sensors, but now they can use their existing their existing camera infrastructure to get this kind of data. An example would be this here. So as you can see, the software is able to capture the number of people being in the queue and can then display this to the operators. Another interesting area of applications is the apron. So with cameras monitoring the apron, the video analytics software can help to capture KPIs on the apron, such as, for example, how long is the loading of the airplanes taking, to optimize this process, which to optimize the turnaround time. That helps the airplanes, the airlines, and of course the airport. And the last kind of transport hub that I want to talk about today, and that we are diving deeper in the demo session, is ports. So how can ports increase their operational efficiency with video analytics? And it's similar to airports. In ports, we often see queues of trucks that need to be processed, that need to offload or unload their cargo. And with video analytics, the operators can receive the information about how long it's going to take them to process those queues and what the current status is, to improve the planning, to improve the operational efficiency, and in the end also to improve the truckers' lives. So let's switch to the live demo. If this is the first time you join us for a webinar, this is how ESOS of Perception looks like. You can see over here all the applications. You see the current user that you're being logged into. And then when we go over here, there's all the cameras that are connected to the system. So in this case, it's roughly 70 cameras that we have attached. There's opportunity to create alarms, download data, add settings. We have a user management, also a system health tab, where we see how busy is the system currently, and then down there the support tab. But the magic really happens within the application. So yeah, let's dive right in here, and we'll follow the same order as I teased it. So we start off with train stations. We've created an application here already. If you want to know more about how to be able to create applications, we have the Getting Started webinar that took place a month ago, where the recording is available online. What you can see here is the dashboard for the train station. When we edit this application, we can add the line over here. For example, to measure the outflow. We can also add a zone to measure how many people are on the train station platform in this area. And that is all very simple. The software is still running in the background. This whole system can be edited live. And now right away we can see, okay, how many people are in this zone. So roughly 60 people, roughly 70 people, and how many people are leaving this train station platform. What we can see as well is the number of luggages. We see that the software detects if there's a train or not, and if there's other relevant objects such as bicycles and wheelchairs. For the airports, I've brought with me multiple applications. Maybe we start with this one over here. So you can see we already drew a line here to measure the number of people within this waiting area. So it's roughly 20 people. We can also see that the value over time, this week, this month, and the custom time query. And what we see here as well is different kind of heat maps. Also the dwell time map. That is, of course, relevant for the airport operators, velocity map and trajectory map. An even larger example would be this here. So we can see over here when we draw this line, how many people go into the check-in area. We can see how long they stay there, and all that is depicted in this graph. The logic how those queues typically work is that we measure the outflow, so basically the throughput of these queues, and then the number of people that wait inside the queue, and this way we can then calculate the average waiting time. Right, so then last but not least, we can jump to the ports. And in this case, we can see here there's an area where there's lots of people that are visiting the port. And for the port operators, it might be interesting to know how many people are there. And again, we can easily add a zone. And in this case, it's a little bit more complex zone, so we can add multiple points to this to capture really the entire area. Et voila, we see in live how many people are waiting in this port. Right. So this has been modifying the existing applications. I also want to walk you through how to create an application. In this case, we select here the object flow application because that's what we want. We want to measure object flow. Maybe let's have a look at the port where there's traffic. So we select the traffic application, and then from all the cameras that we have connected to the system, we select one that is having a port. So this one here is a port as well. And then maybe we want to know how many cars are currently being parked over here. And actually, if you look closely, it says bus parking. So if we add this just roughly. And then we have to give this a name, parking monitoring. Then it takes a second or two for this application to be created. And now we can see, okay, the software already classifies those vehicles as vans. If we have a look here, we can see, okay, it's counting at least one van, and it's counting multiple cars, although this is in the bus parking. So this is probably a violation of the rule here, and so the operators could now take action and find those people that are parking there. The additional information that we could get is if there's over here, if this is the loading area, we could edit this just real quick. We have this zone, we can move this over here to see, okay, how many trucks are currently waiting here in this area. Now we would see, okay, we select trucks, there's one truck waiting. And if there's multiple trucks queuing up, the operators would know, okay, what is going on and what is the operational efficiency, and then could of course display this information to the truckers for them to know in advance when is the operation under heavy load. What is quite nice about this view here is that you can see that the software really detects objects in far distance. So it's not just like 10, 20 meters, but 30, 40, 50 meters. It's no problem for the software. So you get accurate results in very far distance. And that really helps for those kind of applications because oftentimes there's maybe no electricity right where you want to measure. So you need to measure from some further distance, and that makes the software easily to be applied in these kind of use cases. If we jump back to the train station area here, one thing we can see nicely here is that we detect the trains, and we see those. We see the train station platform, and what would then be possible is, for example, to also not just get operational data, but also security-related data. If we move, for example, this zone over here to capture if there's any persons here in this area, that would also be possible with the software to then create an alarm and prevent any trains from getting into this area while there's a person on the railway tracks. Then we can go into the more technical details on how to set something like this up. Again, video analytics can connect to any sorts of cameras. And these cameras are often already installed. So what is really nice about video analytics is, about ESOP Soft Perception, is that it works with any camera. And that is possible because it runs on a separate server. The server is then in the same network as those cameras. It's connected to those cameras, and it produces a dashboard. It produces the dashboard that I've just shown, and it can be integrated with other third-party systems, such as business intelligence tools, and real-time displays to increase the value of the solution. One of those integrations is an integration with a video management system. So when ESOP Soft Perception is being installed in network IT environment where there's cameras, then oftentimes there's already a video management system, such as Milestone X-Protect or Genetec or Cognify. And then our software is able to connect to these video management systems, get the video streams from the video management system, and then send alarms back to the video management system where they are displayed to the operators. When dealing with this sort of critical infrastructure, one question that is often asked is about compliance. So with ESOSoft Perception or with ESOSoft in general, we ensure that the software is made in Germany. It's already trusted by large corporations and transport hub providers. And our regular internal and external audits ensure a high level of data security. And of course, we are compliant with privacy regulations such as GDPR. How do we ensure that? As you've seen in the demo, the video streams are processed in real time. So the algorithm processes the video streams as they come in. No video data is being stored permanently, but it's directly processed. And all we do is detect the position, width, and height of objects. So explicitly, there's no sort of facial recognition or any sort of kind of biometric processing happening. Also, we anonymize the objects as they are displayed in the web dashboard, as you've seen. One case study that is in the context of transport hubs that I want to talk about is the Munich Transport System. They have deployed our software for occasions like the Oktoberfest, probably known worldwide for its large amounts of people that come there. And ESOSoft Perception helps them to cope with these large amounts of people and passengers that are being processed during those huge events. If you want to learn more how video analytics can help you, either if you're a partner, a consultant, or end customer, we are very happy to discuss your use case afterwards. So yeah, if you don't have any questions now, then please feel free to reach out to us afterwards. Thank you all for joining, and have a nice day.